If you were raised in a household or small camping tent like I was, with the values that went something like give more than you take, always think about other people before you do anything, and the classic sit down, shut up and do it as you're told, then this actually might be for you. Hi, lovely to be joined by you. I'm Gemma Laurelle and I'm going to grab a drink. Feel free to grab one for yourself as well. And join me for a chat. And join me as I chat. Do you sometimes feel a little bit resentful in helping others?
How dare you not endlessly serve me, peon? This tea tastes like piss.
Do you sometimes feel that by the end of the day you've been so busy fulfilling the demands of everybody else that there's really nothing left for you?
When's dinner ready?
Do you wonder why you're the bunny trying to live up to the Wonder Woman hero type delusion of being able to do it all, still look beautiful and unfrazzled, picking up the balls that are dropped by everybody else who get paid the same as you but do less work? That was oddly specific. Nothing to do with my personal experience whatsoever. Well, let's rip the lid off this and hopefully we can find ourselves some solutions. So I'm going to throw back to a career that I'm still recovering from, the classic known to be doing mode career of being a lawyer. So for anyone who hasn't experienced lawyering, I'll give you a little bit of a ballpark background. 1 second, put my drink on something. So basically you must have carriage of at least 30 matters per week. So when you finish one case, you automatically get allocated a new one from the pipeline of endless legal matters. Because it is a system, it's a legal system, and you must pull your weight in said system. The cogs need to turn the big wheel of justice. You are a cog, effectively. You must do, not feel, not create, not be a human. You are paid to do. Do it well, do it consistently, do it every single day for the rest of your life. And maybe one day, if you do it well, you will make partner. You must work all day in 6-minute billable blocks of time. They must be billed to a specific matter. If you can't justify what you just did in the last 6 minutes that went by, you have to stay back at work until you've completed your daily hours. Reality, huh? You must sit in your cubicle, in your ergonomically designed chair. Side note here, it's a little ironic that businesses will spend money hiring a corporation to have people come in and literally test the ergonomic design of your sitting cube jail. To make sure that, they'll measure, with the tape measure, they'll measure from the computer to your forehead to make sure that your eye line is reading the screen at a certain height, things like that. And yet, it's the very sedentary nature of sitting more than 3 hours per day, which science, research, has now proven will shorten your lifespan. We want to make sure that you die in proper alignment. So you're going to sit in your little cubicle until your little cog butt becomes the shape of the little cog chair. If your cog butt does not look like the shape of your cog chair, and if your spine does not resemble the shape of, Quasimodo or the Hunchback of Notre Dame, by the time you're 30 years old, then clearly you're not working hard enough. Work harder. Pretty much suck at doing. But what happens if you can't do anymore? Like if you get sick or you realize, this career is pretty crap. What am I doing with my life? Your self-worth crumbles the moment you cannot do anymore. See, when you've been trained to believe that your self-worth is determined by how much you do, it has some interesting consequences. Is that estrogen levels dropping in my body from constant doing mode? Ooh, that explains the she-beard. Some examples about living in the constant doing mode. Guilt and restlessness if you're not working 24/7. If you are not hitting your success targets incessantly dictated to you by everything. You're really not an asset to the human race, are you? If you don't achieve every corporate goal, you, not the system, are a failure. If every Sunday you feel like vomiting or get what you think are just random migraines, you might want to ask yourself, is there something about the cogwheel job attitude that I need to change? Or surely feeling like I don't matter and what I do doesn't really matter because I can be replaced. My boss doesn't even say hello to me as they walk past because their head is already in cog land, and my life feels void of meaning as a result because I've attached my self-worth to doing. Surely that has nothing to do with it. Side note, there's a term that we've thrown around which has been normalized now, which on second thought actually sounds pretty freaking weird. Human resources. You are a resource that just happens to be human. You know what we do to resources? We use them up. You are a resource to be mined and drilled like a space colony on Mars. Once no more can be mined out of you, you'll be discarded as the unit of labor that you are, that no longer serves, left to float in space. Back to topic. How do we care less? So really, how do we disengage in ways that allow us to recharge and refuel ourselves? I want to know the answer to this one. Number 1. Schedule alone time for yourself and actually enjoy it. This one's actually pretty hard. This takes some actual level of selfishness, which is necessary. You can't give from an empty tank. Remember when you were a kid? You woke up and realized, it's not a school day. How happy you were to jump out of bed or mattress on the floor if you were me, and were busting to live life. What was that feeling? I think that feeling was being free of responsibility, being free of serving others, being free of getting something done. You had your own time to spend before people started making demands on your time. You've got to find a way again to have that kid-like excitement, you know? It basically will fuel joy in your life and effectively the will to live. For me, I find that time in the mornings. I wake up early, in the morning nobody is around, it's quiet, it's dark, and it's peaceful to me. It's my time. My time. My time. My time. Window of time before the world wakes up and starts making demands on you. Read this email, do this, get this out. Why didn't this get done 3 days ago before you knew it existed? No people in my life gives me peace. Oh, it sounds so wrong. Uplifting reminder time. You will still have the company of other beings in your life, even if you don't like people. No matter how many friend requests you decline or messages you ignore. For example, spiders trying to crawl into bed with you. You're just being picky about your company now. Tip number 2, turn the other cheek, sister. See, I grew up thinking that phrase meant take it up the, again. You know, like, oh, somebody abused me and disrespected me. Here, have another shot. Like, until I came across some, funny enough, YouTube videos where some of these phrases that have been interpreted have been reinterpreted. So what I mean by turn the other cheek is, well, first of all, it's normal to feel negative emotions. Let's get that out of the way. But you don't have to keep your attention on them forever. How long you give your attention to how crappy you feel is really up to you. Turn the other cheek for me now means turn the other way from unwanted things and people. I mean, who said you had to stand there and take it? Of course, pretending that you don't feel things is delusion. You're deluding yourself. You deserve honesty. Does anyone had any luck pretending they don't feel something? I'm trying to think of a time when... Nope. I mean, trying to suppress negative thoughts is like playing whack-a-mole. They just keep popping up all over the place, and good luck with that. Negative emotions are actually great. They're a call to action. How long should we wallow in our bad vibes, like feeling sad, angry, just like miserable, frustrated? It's really your choice. Personally, I want to move on as soon as I can. Because I want to be happy. I want to feel good. For the less traumatic emotions like sadness, disappointment, frustration, I give myself about 90 seconds. Time in the day, I'd rather be feeling good. I can't control what's out there. Anyway, I like to laugh. And because I don't hire someone to walk around with me all day to make me laugh, which actually sounds like a pretty good idea, I find my own ways to have fun and try to stay in that state of openness and curiosity and possibility. Like my parents said when I was a wee lass,
Knock that off! Get outside if you want to make noise. Turn the volume down.
no, well, yes, they did say that. What I'm trying to say is my parents said, they also said, If you're bored, find a way to entertain yourself. Fortunately, life has no shortage of opportunities to make you laugh. If you have a sense of humor. Anger to me can be quite empowering, not because it scares the digestive intestinal material out of people. When I'm angry, I can usually have 100% control of the room. Because in this day and age, nobody knows what to do with an angry woman. We can't slap her out of it like the good old days. We just have to bear witness and feel excruciatingly uncomfortable. But the reason anger is so empowering for me is it's an internal process, because I feel more fuel to overcome the challenges that I've just faced, rather than sliding back into sadness, apathy, giving up, resigning to the fact that I'll probably never pursue my desires ever again, because what's the point? Tip number 3, you are not here to fix broken things or people. Closely tied to this is the concept that you are not responsible for somebody else's happiness. Dare I say it? And that doesn't mean you're not going to feel like you're being crushed by the weight of people who use every tactic in the book to make it feel like it's your responsibility to make them feel better. I grew up in the 80s where smacking your kids because they're not making the parents happy was quite acceptable. There's nothing quite like the sting of a slap to remind you that your very existence is tied to your ability to please others. So, for the rest of your life, you will try to undo that little bugger of a subconscious program. Gosh, it's so confusing to be belted by a wooden spoon whilst being lovingly told, "I'm doing this because I love you." Talk about mixed messaging. Probably explains my tolerance for suffering and dysfunction. I sometimes think we can get this backwards. We think the more we give away, the more we focus on the external world and finding more and more ways to help, that we should feel like Mother Teresa by the end of it. You know, actually feeling good about all our efforts and contributing to make the world a better place. But a decade or two of pursuing that methodology for me led to the feeling the opposite. I felt ripped off and depleted. Like I had given and suffered and sacrificed for you kids. Whoop, there I go off on a tangent again. Family times, eh? Parenthood, the fun trauma of childhood. Don't make your kids your jailers. Resentment is a bitter poison. There are actually some personal boundaries worth creating to facilitate you actually enjoying your life and not spending it trying to continuously prop other people up and being the source of their joy. Some examples of how to create your own space are learning to say no and feeling no guilt and no desire to have to explain yourself or explain your why. For example, when a friend comes at you again with the same problem, boyfriends, relationships, jobs, whinge. Pop the responsibility back in their hands instead of trying to be the magical puzzle solver for all your friends. A powerful question that I have discovered is, so how are you thinking of fixing that situation? It's gold. I mean, this is where you start to lose friends, but there's a weird correlation. You have an exponential growth in your own happiness and get your energy back. Who knew? Remember, you are not here to make other people happy. You will likely lose people along the way, and that's great. Good. You'll get new people because you deserve to be surrounded by everything that lights you up. I hope you found this helpful. I believe in trying to cut the BS about a lot of things to help provide clarity and just another perspective. We all have our own perspectives, and that's what makes the world so amazing and diverse and interesting. So leave a comment below and share your experience. You never know if what you have to share will help someone else in the community. What is your no duh might be somebody else's light bulb. So never discount the value that you bring by just being you and the value that you bring from your experiences. You and your experiences matter. And I'm glad you've been here with me.